It's Randy Orton. Oh.
I have voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me.
Hey guys, what's going on? Mr. Beef89 here, and today I thought I'd try something a bit different. This is something that I might do every now and then with certain WWE pay-per-views. I'm not going to do this with every pay-per-view, like, simply because I wouldn't have time to do it. Like, if I had time to do this, I would try and do this with every single pay-per-view, but I simply just don't have the time. But I thought I had some spare time here, so I thought I'll kind of elaborate on a lot of what I think will happen like beyond the Royal Rumble. So this is more of a kind of post-Royal Rumble discussion and beyond, so what I think could happen at WrestleMania, Fastlane, that sort of thing. I'm going to try and do this kind of thing after preferably the big four shows. So your Royal Rumbles, your WrestleManias, your SummerSlams, your Survivor Series. I can't make any promises, but this is something I might try and do with, you know, the big four and maybe some other ones like Money in the Bank or whatever. But let's get started discussing what happened. So as for the Rumble, I mean, I've got my review up. To put it simply, I thought it was a really good show. I thought from top to bottom the card was solid. There was no bad matches on here, and the worst match I think was still good. So I think there's nothing really to complain about there. So I'm just going to go in match by match and what I think the future is for each kind of championship, as it were. So obviously with the IC title, Dean Ambrose is still the champ. He beat Kevin Owens, and I was really happy actually that Dean Ambrose was in the final two. I think that was a nice little surprise, and the Triple H and Ambrose squaring off at the end was great. Like, that was a great final sequence, and that really makes me want to see a match between Triple H and Dean Ambrose. Anyway, where do I see the IC title picture going into WrestleMania? I definitely think Ambrose will be the champion going into Mania. I think that does make a lot of sense. Or at least contending for the IC title at WrestleMania, I think. Who do I see him going up against, or whatever? Who do I see him having a feud with going into Mania? I think the best bet is probably Chris Jericho. I think, you know, they showed friction back at Night of Champions when they lost to the Wyatt family, and Jericho got knocked out. Well, not knocked out, but he passed out to Braun Strowman's, like, you know, submission finisher. I can't remember what it's called, but so there's friction there, and then, you know, Jericho showed that kind of heel friction there, and also the fact Ambrose eliminated Jericho from the Royal Rumble, and Jericho had an incredible performance as well, may I add. You know, he really proved that he can still go despite his age, and I was very proud of Chris Jericho. I think he put in a great performance. I think that will lead to an Ambrose Jericho feud, with Jericho turning heel, I assume. I think this could actually be a really good little feud. Both guys obviously great on the mic. Jericho as a heel would be incredible. I really love Jericho as a heel. I think this is a feud where you really need to put over Dean Ambrose. I think one thing that that would be quite interesting, and this is something that my mate, I was talking to him about, something that he thought of, a Fastlane, you could have Jericho and Ambrose go in both as faces, so they have their match at Fastlane, and there's some sort of heel shenanigans by Jericho, and he establishes the heel turn, and he becomes a 10-time Intercontinental Champ, and then you can have Ambrose kind of chase the belt, win it back. I know this wouldn't be that great of an idea for everyone. I know a lot of people wouldn't be a huge fan of this, having Jericho just drop the belt back and, you know, whatever. But I think it'd be a good idea. Like, I just think Jericho deserves to be a 10-time Intercontinental Champ. Maybe that's just me, but I also think it would help cement Jericho heel turn. Like, you think that, you know, they're actually just gonna have a friendly feud, and then it develops into a kind of, you know, Jericho, you know, referring to heel shenanigans, and then them having a match at WrestleMania where Ambrose gets the belt back. I think this would be quite good, to be honest. And you can have Ambrose win the third match at Extreme Rules as well. So that's where I kind of see the IC title picture going. Dean Ambrose Jericho feud, I think that's probably what will happen. As for the tag team titles, I'm really not sure. Like, the New Day obviously are great. You know, the Usos are good as well. I like the Usos, but the problem is there's not really many teams now who can contend with the New Day. Like, they've beaten the Usos. You know, there's no other teams really they can face. Like Lucha Dragons, like Kalisto's the US champion, Sin Cara's injured. You know, the Ascension are not credible at all. I'm just trying to think. I can't really think of any other tag teams like Titus O'Neil's and Darren Young, Primetime Players. They've gone their separate ways in terms of solo careers. I just don't know who else they can feud with, really. I mean, unless my only real thoughts are maybe they'll bring up Enzo and Cass from NXT, but I really don't know who else they can really bring up. I mean, I would say Jordan and Gable, but I think they've got unfinished business in NXT. Like, I think they should and probably will get the NXT tag titles, but I don't know. I really don't know. Unsure about the tag title picture. That's the one kind of thing I'm really not sure about. Like, I think I'll probably say that Enzo and Cass will probably have a feud with the New Day in the near future. Who knows? Or maybe they'll just do some sort of multi-man pre-show match like they do the past couple of years. But I think the tag team division really needs an injection of some new teams, in my personal opinion. So next, the US title. Where do I see that going into WrestleMania? So obviously, I think Kalisto will go in as the champion. I think him and Del Rio have a rematch at Fastlane, which is fine. I'm cool with that. But I think going into WrestleMania, where do I see the US title playing in? If it does feature on the card, I could see them maybe doing like a multi-man match, whether it's a ladder match or whatever. I have no idea, but I think there'll probably be some sort of multi-man match. Like maybe it'll be like I don't know. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Maybe like a six-pack challenge, that sort of thing. Maybe you throw in guys like Kalisto, Neville. I'm just trying to think who else off the top of my head. Maybe Stardust. Again, I'm trying to improvise here. I can't exactly name names off the top of my head, but those kind of people in the mid card. Maybe Tyler Breeze, but again, I wouldn't even consider him in the mid card at this point. But I do see the US title being, if it is on the card and defended, in some sort of multi-man match where Kalisto can kind of showcase his abilities, I think. But I do think Kalisto may get not a really long reign as US champion, but I think he'll get a fairly decent, lengthy reign. I think they want to try and get him over as the new kind of Latino babyface star, because they've really needed that since Mysterio's gone. Like, Del Rio can't really do it. He's much better as a heel. I think you need that face Latino star, and I think Kalisto's the guy who WWE see, and I think that's a good idea. I think Kalisto can be a guy who can really, sell people for the, can help, attract the Latin fan base, I think. So as for the Divas title, this is quite an interesting thing. I was trying to think about what could happen. Obviously, they're setting up for a Sasha-Charlotte feud. I think that's obvious. You had, obviously, Charlotte and Becky Lynch, I thought, had a really good match. Charlotte attacks Becky afterwards. Sasha Banks comes out, pretends to align with Charlotte, puts her in the bank statement. So obviously we're getting a feud there with Charlotte and Charlotte and Sasha Banks. They'll probably have a match at Fastlane, I think. I think that would make a lot of sense. And that could be a really, really awesome match. On NXT they've had some awesome matches, and hopefully that will continue into Fastlane. But as for WrestleMania, I can see them maybe doing a Divas triple threat with the three NXT Divas that they brought up in the summer. So Charlotte, Becky, Sasha. I think that would be an incredible women's match, and would probably realistically end up being the best women's match of all time at WrestleMania. But that's not really saying much, because let's face it, there haven't been that many great female WrestleMania matches. But I think that's what I would personally do. I think that definitely what would be awesome, because I just think these three women are so talented, and they're kind of taking the Divas division over. And I think them having a triple threat at WrestleMania would actually be pretty good. And I think that would be something that would definitely please the fans. And I think it would be an awesome match. And I think if the correct build, it could be a really good feud as well, I think. So this is where I think this next topic is going to have a lot of discussion here. And that's the picture of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and also just people who were in the Royal Rumble match. I'm going to kind of clamp this into one. So let's start off with people who were in the Royal Rumble match. So AJ Styles obviously debuted at number 3 in the Rumble. That was great. I was very excited to see AJ Styles finally come to WWE. You know, I think it was great to see that he got a really good pop as well. I think if he hadn't got a great pop, maybe WWE would have been like, oh, why is this guy coming and not getting, you know, why is he not getting a pop? Like, you know, maybe we made a mistake here. But glad to see he got a good pop. The guy had a tremendous 2015 from what I've heard. Like, he was having great match after great match after great match. I hope this continues in WWE personally. Like, I really want to see AJ Styles. You know, I don't necessarily expect him to be like a top guy per se, but he's definitely a guy who could be in the higher mid card. Like, I think with AJ Styles, there's potential of him maybe having a feud with Kevin Owens potentially. I mean, he got eliminated by Kevin Owens in the Royal Rumble. They had a bit of a square off as well in the Rumble match. I don't think that will happen though. I'm really kind of unsure of where AJ Styles will fit into this. Who knows, maybe there'll be an AJ Styles Daniel Bryan match if Bryan comes back. I think that would be an amazing match. I think, you know, a lot of the internet fans as well will be very happy to see that. And I would personally be very up for seeing Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles at WrestleMania. I think that could be an incredible match. You know, I think that could be awesome. As for Kevin Owens, I think Kevin Owens will probably feud with Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn will probably have to do double duty in the sense of continuing his feud with continuing his NXT run. I think he'll probably end up having a match with Finn Balor at NXT Dallas. So you'll kind of probably have to do double duty in the sense. So you'll have to do Sami Zayn, but I think Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens is where they're going for WrestleMania, which I think is great. I think this is what I wanted to see for WrestleMania. This is what I wanted to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn do. I think the story's there from NXT, and you can transfer that to the main roster. And it could be a really great feud. Like, this could be, in my opinion, one of the best feuds of 2016 if they do it right. Obviously, you had Lesnar. He's got some beef with the Wyatts after they eliminated him. I think this is such a shame. I think it's a real shame because if you built up the Wyatt family as a credible faction, and as someone who, as a faction who could easily, you know, because let's face it, Bray Wyatt's not exactly had the best 2015. Like, he lost his feud to The Undertaker. He then had a mini feud with Ryback where he won, and then he went on to feud with Roman Reigns where he lost. Again, you know, the Wyatt family. He reformed the Wyatt family in the middle of that feud. After that, they lost to the Brothers of Destruction. They beat the ECW guys, but again, that doesn't really, in my opinion, it doesn't solidify them as a top faction by them beating some ECW legends. Just my opinion, I think. I think the problem is WWE are kind of, I've heard this phrase, some people use this phrase, and it's true, it's literally goldfish booking. Like, you expect people to forget how shit the Wyatt family were treated in 2015, expect them just to sort of be, you know, as a credible threat to Brock Lesnar. And you know what, you know, if Bray Wyatt had been built up as a credible threat, I would be really up for a Bray Wyatt Brock Lesnar match. But the fact is, you know, I'm not excited because if Lesnar will, and you know, and he probably will when Lesnar squashes the Wyatts, it will just make them look so weak. It will look, you know, and it's a real shame because if built up correctly, this could have been a really interesting feud, and I would have been really excited to see this match. But unfortunately, it's just not really the case. So next we'll look at basically the picture of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously Triple H won the belt at the Royal Rumble from number 30. Surprised Ambrose was in the final two with him. I like that though. I think that was awesome to see. But I think it's pretty obvious they're going to go the route of Roman Reigns versus Triple H at WrestleMania 32. Which is okay, I guess. I mean, I would have liked to have seen Lesnar versus Reigns too. I think there's more of a, you know, you could have continued the story from there, and you could have done Triple H and Roman Reigns at Fastlane. But this isn't a terrible thing. I think with Triple H winning the belt, I've got mixed opinions. Like, I don't hate it because it does make storyline sense, but at the same time, like, it just shows that WWE really are lacking top guys that they have to rely on. They have to rely on people like Triple H to come back and win the belt and that sort of thing. Like, you know, I think it's just kind of a shame, really. But as for like WrestleMania, I think Triple H will take on Roman Reigns. For Fastlane, before that, I mean, this may be a shot in the dark. This could still. I mean, I know I said Ambrose probably have a match with Jericho, but who knows? Maybe they'll do an Ambrose Triple H match at Fastlane. I mean, I'm not saying it will happen, but it's just a suggestion I'm throwing out there. Like, I would be up for seeing that. It could be a great match. You could play off the fact of them being the final two. Do I see it happening? Probably not. What do I think the match will be at Fastlane? Probably a number one contenders match of some description. Roman Reigns probably will be in the main event against whoever. I mean, I would say Lesnar, but he might have something to do with the Wyatts. Honestly, I have no clue. But I think in terms of for WrestleMania, it's definitely going to be Triple H and Roman Reigns. So I hope you guys enjoy that kind of post-Royal Rumble 2016 discussion and beyond. Let me know if you want to see more of these in the near future, because I did like doing this video, and I think hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.